and welcome to my channel. My name is Darya Lisserman. I'm a local Illinois realtor. I've been a realtor for a little shy of 20 years, and I want to talk to you about really kind of an issue that a lot of people don't talk about, which is annoying neighbors. Okay, so so it's you know, in real estate we hear a lot of kooky things, and you know, we get a lot of people that are all different kinds of people, and not everyone gets along. You want to think that you're the best personality ever, and that your neighbors are going to be the best personality ever, and everything is going to be kumbaya and great, but it doesn't always end up to be this way. When you're buying a property in a building that you know, a multi-unit building where you have a neighbor on both sides of you and on top of you, just know that just because it's quiet right now doesn't mean that it's going to be always quiet. In other words, you have these wonderful neighbors to the right and to the left of you and on top of you, and you never hear them and everything is great, but 2 years from now, possibly someone could move in, and the quietness is over, and that person is a little louder than the other people. That's just what it is. When you're buying in a building that you have neighbors to the right, to the left, and to the top of you, you have to understand that these are your roommates. Yes, everyone has their own apartment and everyone is separated, but you're all kind of living together. And just because one neighbor is quieter or at work longer than doesn't mean that your next neighbor is going to be like that. So complaining about each other, it's just not always going to help. It's more like going into the mindset of, if I live in a multi-unit building, will this make me happy? Will I get annoyed by other people? And if the answer is yes, I need it to be super quiet. I'm going to get super annoyed if things are not going to go this way. I'm not going to like following the rules of the building. If this is how you think you're going to feel, then you should not buy in a multi-unit building. You should be buying you know, a property that's a standalone, like a little house or a big house. Living with neighbors is probably not your thing, which is okay. It doesn't have to be your thing. Not everyone wants to hear others people's playing the piano or music, or even though you think your music is awesome, the other person might not think it's great, even if it's during the day. And if it's going to annoy you, then you should not live with roommates, which is apartments to the right, to the left, and to the top of you. If you have really loud habits, and you know, you think you're gonna annoy the person below you, maybe you should not be buying in a unit where you think you're gonna annoy someone. Really consider that, because it is not the best thing to complain to each other, because it starts creating tensions among your neighbors. And you want to be happy anywhere you live, because that's your home, that's your sanctuary. You don't want to come home to a property where you're arguing with everyone about noise. If people are going to annoy you, if you're allergic to smoke, if you are allergic to dogs or cats, and the building allows for that, don't buy in a building like that, because it's just going to aggravate you in the future. If you don't, you know, if you're going to live in a property where you have a lot of maintenance, like if you're in a single family home and you have a lot of maintenance to your home, and you're maintaining and you're doing great, but your neighbors are not, like if you're in a single family home and you're mowing your lawn and you're planting flowers, but your neighbors are not, and that's really annoying you because you're like, oh, I'm putting so much effort to make everything so beautiful, but no one else around me cares, then don't buy in a neighborhood like that. Buy in a neighborhood where everything looks good and you're not annoyed all the time. Because even though you think you're gonna change things, you probably won't. It's just the way it's been, and to get a change like that going and to get everyone on board to planting flowers, it's probably going to take years. And if it's gonna aggravate you in the long run, please don't do it. If you do have an issue with a neighbor, please consider sleeping on it, because if you start an argument with a neighbor, or even if you approach it in a condescending way, most likely it's not going to get you what you want. Yes, that neighbor might change his or her habits, but it will not, that neighbor will always look at you differently, or it'll take some time for that neighbor to heal from the way that you've approached it. So really consider on how to approach each other in a way that makes it a happy place to be and makes you want to come home. You don't want to have issues where you're arguing with your neighbors. Definitely find ways to get along with people that you live around, because once you start arguing, you can't take those, it's going to be really hard for you to take those impressions back. And if you ever need your neighbor's help with anything, with a repair, or with, you know, a project that you're working on, or maybe your car won't start and you want to approach your neighbor and ask for help, and if you've been arguing with that neighbor all these years, that person's probably not going to help you. So consider being neighborly. Thank you again for for letting me vent. I feel like this is a venting video, but hope you tune into my channel. My name is Darya Lisserman. Please subscribe.